This is the presentation part of Envision. It is used by the teacher in class in order to present their lesson before the children. The teacher has one computer, one projector, and a few mice, one for every student. The teacher uses the computer to run the presentation part and the projector to present the lesson before the children and to make it visible to all students in the classroom. In order to begin a lesson, the teacher should first log on into the system by entering their mouse password correctly. The mouse password is in fact the sequence of pressing the right and left mouse buttons, known only to the teacher but not to the students. After the password has been entered, the teacher can choose the lesson and the class before which the lesson will be presented. After the class has been chosen, the names and cursors of the students appear on the screen, and students can identify themselves before the system by using their mice and clicking on their names. Then, the students have the opportunity to choose their own mouse pointers. These pointers are not only attractive to the children, but they also help them keep track of their mouse on the screen more easily. After these preparations, the actual part of the lesson can begin. The teacher has the opportunity to present two main types of content before the children. The first type of content is the static one. This is used by the teacher in order to present the theoretical part of the lesson before the children. This can be done by the means of pictures and/or text. If a certain text requires more than one picture to be shown, the teacher can switch between different pictures by pressing the space key. After the theoretical part of the lesson is finished, the teacher can examine the students' understanding of the subject matter by having them participate in different kinds of activities. Those activities aim not only to examine the children, but also to help them understand and memorize the presented information better. There are currently four main types of activities which we have created for children. They are not only competitive, but also have a collaborative nature. The first type of activity is the multiple answer question. Here, students choose their answer from a list of available ones. For every correct answer, students gain points which they can keep track of from the scoreboard screen. After all students have answered the question, the correct one appears on the screen, giving the children visual feedback on their answer. A slightly different representation of the multiple answer question is the one where the answers appear in the form of pictures. The teacher has always a control over the student's answer, and when they decide, for example, that students take too much time to answer the question, they can do it for the students, but if there are any children who have not yet completed the activity, they will not have the opportunity to do so anymore. The teacher has access to some interesting options from the teacher's menu. They can perform basic navigation across the system, they can freeze the students' mice in order to attract attention, and probably the most interesting option is the timer. The timer is used by the teacher to enforce a time limit on the students answering the question. After the time limit expires, the correct answer appears on the screen again, hiding the students' mice and preventing them from giving their answers. Another way of giving answers by students is by using mouse gestures. Mouse gestures are similar to the way the teacher enters their mouse password in the login screen. Every answer from the list of available ones has its mouse gesture representation. For example, if we want to answer Earth, we should click on the right mouse button and then press Done. If the students make a mistake, they can click the clear button to correct it and then enter the correct sequence again. Until now, all students had to answer the same question. The teacher, however, has the opportunity to ask each student a different question. All students have their own question, and they cannot answer their classmates' questions. This way, the teacher can examine each student's individual perception of the subject matter. The second main type of activity which we have created for children is the visual categorization of objects. The The students are asked to categorize different objects by dragging them to the corresponding part of the screen. What's interesting about this activity is that children can drag the objects by themselves, or the teacher can ask them to do it in groups. For example, 2 or more children can cooperate in order to move an object, and if a single student tries to move it, it won't be possible. Another type of activity which we have created is the virtual keyboard question. Here the students give their answer to the question by using the virtual keyboard, which can contain not only letters but also special symbols, numbers, and whatever the teacher can think of. This, this type of activity also supports asking individual questions to the students. And it again is up to the teacher to decide whether to ask an individual or a common question. The last type of activity which we'll introduce to you is the map question. Here students are asked to locate different objects on a map. For example, here we are looking for the sun, and in order to give a correct answer, the students should click on the sun. When all students have answered, the correct location is circled on the map. If the teacher wants to search for different locations on the same map, they have the opportunity to do so. For example, here we can look for Jupiter or any other planet.